Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sonya Sunheart, and tonight I would like to focus a little bit on DNA and the field of epigenetics. So, some of you might already be familiar with Bruce Lipton's amazing work on epigenetics. He is a pioneer, and I know that this whole topic of our DNA and the quantum field and how thoughts become things that Joe Dispenza talks about as well, and all of that. So, how do we form our reality through our thoughts and our belief systems? And all of that is the most fascinating topic for me to study, along with the gene keys, which is based on the 64 codons in our body. So, the genetic code, the hollow genetic profile that makes up a person. So your special combination of genetics. And this field is, again, it's really just, I believe, at the beginning. And yet we're making so much progress so fast, like Nikola Tesla said, or maybe it was him, I'm not sure, about making, in 10 years, we're going to be making so much progress once we understand more and more about the quantum field and how these fields allow us to create our reality through our thoughts. So I have this, I have this amazing encyclopedia here called The Subtle Body, and it's all about energy, because the more we study the quantum field, the Akashic record, the ether in the ancient texts. Well, ancient, I mean, esoteric texts, they would say the ether. This is basically the field that connects everything and has all the information. So really, we are living in fields within fields, and we are all energy fields as well. And we are biological energetic fields. And what I love about the connecting the science with spirituality, and again, sorry for the flashing, my computer does this. I rebooted, but it's still doing it. I don't know, some kind of glitch. But my purpose with this is that as I speak and as I share information, I hope that we can open up a conversation about this this topic of thoughts becoming fields. So I didn't know that there are actually scientists who study these fields. They're called L fields and T fields. And they're saying, is this what actually creates reality? So an L field is a life field, and a T field is a thought field. So what's interesting about these is, again, these new thought leaders that I'm studying right now. I will have a whole series on Ernest Holmes. He's all about creative intelligence and how our thoughts and our beliefs create reality. And this is not a new topic. It was in 1918, I believe. But what's fascinating is it links with the Bible, with sacred texts and all of that. And, I like to decode things and put things together, information. We are in a time of mass information, and we all have to be vigilant with what information we choose to download or to listen to or to be inspired by and all of that. Because there's only so many hours in a day, and we all have busy lives. But if you're interested, I know a friend of mine, Ashley, who I connected with sometime last year. And we were just so excited to know that she was also aware of the 64 gene keys. So this is my textbook that I've had for probably 4 or 5 years now. I can't remember exactly, but once I discovered this, I was like, wow, this is mind-blowing, and it connects so much with understanding the ascension of our transformation, our transmutation from darkness to light, from not knowing to knowing. When belief turns into knowing, when you have embodied the wisdom, then something shifts. And this is, I believe, with the ancient texts, with the Christ consciousness and all of that, that the second coming and the time that we're in right now. And I have to say, big shout out to one of my favorite channels, and Brian Scott is an incredible orator, and so many beautiful topics about this, connected to this. But again, I have, my specifics that I like to focus on and study and share. And today's Gene Key, my email, I get, updates on that from Richard Rudd. And so today's Gene Key is 27, and the shadow is selfishness. The gift is altruism, and the city is selflessness. So through this, and it's called the food of the gods, we have the physiology is the sacral plexus, and the amino acid is leucine. So anyone who's into biology and all that can go a little deeper into that. I'm not focused on those parts. But the sacral plexus, as we know, is your power center. It's so, when you're connected to that, you actually have a strong willpower and manifesting power and all of that. So yeah, and what it said is, when you have information, sometimes you want to keep it to yourself, or you want to, maybe it's like you feel like there's not enough, you don't have enough to, or you don't get yeah. So, but the thing is, to keep it is like feels selfish, or it can be one of my friends said that it's called like the shaman's disease or something. It's when you want to share and you don't, and then you feel like you have too much to not share, you know what I mean? So something like that. So for me, when I make a video or I focus on topics or I want to share, whether it's a revelation about, like my last video I was talking about also how thoughts and how subjective reality is created through our own perception, our own 0-point field, and things like that. So again, mixing the quantum with my own spiritual experiences. What is an ascension portal, for example? I was listening to scientist Dan Winter, who is an amazing scientist, but like mind-blowing stuff, and not really for people are just starting on this topic. I think it might be too much, but it's too much for me. I go back and listen to parts, but it's the combination of it's like our galactic spirituality. I don't know if that, but it's like really our cosmic self that is integrating from a higher field into a lower field. So with our frequency, our intention, and our God connection, which is actually the kingdom within us, which is our DNA, our photonic light antennas, we actually have incredible capabilities. And another, revelation that's come through is just how telepathic we are going to be at some point. So, what are these genetic codons and these L fields and T fields, which is what I'd like to focus on. And I will read one part of the beginning of the gene keys. And what we're experiencing right now is a tumultuous time of transition from one era to another, from losing our religion to remembering our that it's all within us, and that we can light it up. we can become those, like I said before, those Christed beings. So we need to talk to our DNA in a way that allows us to really be the chief commander, like the government, the mind, the thoughts will, inform, information. It will give it form. It will bring it into matter. So fascinating that our DNA is programmable, or that's what epigenetics means, above genetics, meaning you are not stuck with your genetics. Yes, you might have some, I believe it's 10% of your genes that are, non-negotiables, like maybe your height, or something with people who have blue eyes, and they, there's certain genetics that, and even that can be questioned if we get to another level of what we believe we can do, then perhaps that law changes. But the thing is, it is a law. These are laws, and now they're being revealed to us, and it's exciting because we are not limited. And if we're not renewing or regenerating, then we're dying, and death and birth is all part of the cycles. But perhaps we can continuously regenerate, and this is where it gets interesting, because we talk about ascension and ascended masters and all of that, and it really connects with this. So I would just like to read one little part here, and the 64-bit matrix is integral to physics, biology, music, geometry, architecture, computer programming, and most fields of human research and endeavor. They form the foundational tetrahedral structure underlying space-time itself. It is therefore no wonder that they continue to be discovered at the core of all natural systems. For example, the Fibonacci sequence, or the solfeggio, when we understand that these frequencies and are linked with our chakra system, they're linked with nature creation. So basically numbers that are sacred geometry and create everything in our universe, then we're starting to really understanding the building blocks of reality creation. And it's fascinating, and there's so much more to learn, which makes me want to take care of myself and my health and continue, because I would like to continually be learning and understanding myself and my place in the universe and what's possible here and beyond here, multidimensionally, intergalactically, all of these things that for me are part of my reality. And I'm not the only one. I know, for example, one of my teachers, Sandra Walter, and my breathwork teacher, Christabel, and all these other, scientists like Fritz Albert Popp and Richard Rudd as a mystic, but also scientist. And what I love is it's not separate. It's all coming together. And as we do that, we're discovering that the God particle, the God's kingdom, is actually within us, like all the sacred texts talk about. And I actually ordered a book specifically on the I Ching, because it is the book of changes. It is the grid of 64. It's the original grid. And the more I learn and connect, the more I feel that connection, and I really love it. And really, what Richard Rudd says is the Gene Keys process is about giving yourself freedom. And all of this freedom begins with your imagination. So if we can imagine it, we can create it. And I've done this in my life, as I'm sure many of you have, consciously or unconsciously, often unconsciously. Now I'm looking back at my life and seeing how when I planted the seed of a thought, I was eventually given back that if I really kept it as something that I really wanted to manifest or create in my life. And so, yeah, so listening is important. Responding. So the DNA is actually always listening. So we need to be the guides. And so it's important for us to be aware of how we speak to ourselves, of what we focus on, like energy flows where attention goes. And so right now, what's going on the planet is a lot of narrative that is being, but I don't think, I believe it's not working, that a lot of people are snapping out of it, that are waking up. This is actually the Grand Awakening, the Great Shift, whatever you want to call it. What's important, again, that I've always talked about on my channel is being in the heart. Because it is the bridge between the lower and the higher, and it's also our most powerful field when we're talking about other fields. The magnetic field of the heart is 10 times larger than our auric field. So the auric field has a potential to also be very bright, very powerful. It's something that could actually be our vessel towards the ascended mastery path, which, we see the halo. Oh,